Hey Aquarius, the call to adventure is here. Will you answer it? Let's find out. So we are on the second stage of the hero's journey in the call of adventure, and this is the Six of Swords here. I've got the last unicorn deck out. And it was interesting, I was getting set up for this reading, and the Six of Swords was already the first card on the bottom of the deck, which I don't think has happened in any reading that I've done a significator with. And then right behind it was the Seven of Swords, which I thought was interesting because in the minor arcana, we're exploring the complexes on the hero's journey. And so that in this stage would look like the grass is greener, like that internal struggle, because the next stage after this one is the refusal of the call. So there's going to be a little back and forth like hem and haw. And I think with the Seven of Swords right behind the Six, there might be something, someone, what have you, just in your vibe that, and it could be yourself too, but that's convincing you that you're not ready for whatever this adventure is. So let's start getting into some cards and let's get into it. So let's get the first card here. So grass is greener. Let's see. And with those complexes, the way this kind of differs from the major arcana series that I did with the hero's journey is that was more archetypal, whereas this is getting into those complexes, like within the psyche of self, or the psyche of the hero, however you want to look at it. So a little more granular. Let's get the first card here. This is the prettiest deck that I own, and it's just a little tough to shuffle. And we've got Judgment. Okay, maybe that was a little commentary on my commentary, but Judgment in reverse, and Five of Swords in reverse. I think that's building on that theme of, it's almost like you've got an influence that's giving you bad judgment when really there's no conflict about moving forward. Almost like we could kind of lean into the theme from the Pisces reading of like the saboteur complex. It could be that, and it could be something external trying to fill that role. It's under here. Oh, my lucky coin. And Five of Swords, so that's that mental argument. And I mean, if you've seen The Last Unicorn, he falls for her and he looks very concerned here. And it kind of seems like if you put that in the real world context, it's like whatever the saboteur, self or other, is trying to keep you from, it's going to happen anyway. So it's just a delay. It's not, you haven't actually been deterred from this call. Because maybe it is a call that previously you refused, but now, for whatever reason, you're ready to progress down the hero's journey. Let's get another one. Let's see. Just a little more context on what is this that's influencing judgment. That could also be the judgment cast on the situation, that it's just done, no matter if it's like some sort of dissolution of something, like a marriage, a job, whatever. you just know whatever they come to the table with is not going to be good enough. Like, it could be a bajillion, zillion dollars, and that's just not enough. It could be all the money in the world. You could be the benevolent dictator of the world, and it still would not be enough. What is this influence? There we go. Knight of Coins. Knight of Pentacles. Huh. Somebody doesn't approve of what you're going for. Because if you build on the movie, Schmendrick, he knows she's a unicorn, but the knight doesn't. So in that expression of concern when he's looking at these two, I mean, I'm inclined to think that he's more concerned about her just because, you know, they all partied together. I mean, they were like a party together to the castle. But he still, like, he can empathize with the knight, who I can't remember his name, not knowing, like, this truth about her. Interesting. And at the same time, like, I mean, I don't really know if this can be said about her since she just became a human. You know, that's what they're showing in this judgment card, is when he turned her from unicorn into human to protect her. But the knight, like, he's a grown man, you know. You make your choices. Let's see. And this is the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. Oh, and Six of Swords, that's Mercury in Aquarius. And there's about to be a big shift in Aquarius. Pluto is going direct again, so that is... it's in about a week from the time of this filming, because that'll be on the 13th, October 13th. And that's like a tectonic plate shifting, because it's Pluto. So maybe there wasn't something right in the environment. That's why you couldn't answer the call before. That is many. I'm taking the bottom one. Riches. Saturn in Capricorn. Ooh. I know that feel. I don't quite understand. Because this doesn't feel money motivated. I mean, there is the Knight of Pentacles. And he was like the sword for hire for the king, but she kind of opened him up with her just being her unicorn self. And then it wasn't about the money. So what is going on? Negotiation. Jupiter in Libra. And extremism. Mercury in Scorpio. But that's in reverse. Cover her up. I feel this Seven of Swords, this deception is in one of these two. And whoever Schmendrick represents, that's what I'm inclined, where I'm inclined to make that connection. Because he's holding the Three Swords, which is heartbreak. And people do shifty, shady things when they're heartbroken, or they think they're going to be heartbroken, or they know they're going to be heartbroken. Because, say, your call to adventure is across the pond, you know? You're headed to new lands and you're leaving everything behind. Maybe there's someone that wants you to stay for whatever reason. And it could be for selfish reasons. It could be something misguided, like they think they're protecting you or something, when really what's happening is they're disregarding your desires. But this riches thing, I don't know. I'm gonna need more. So over here on the left, what is this deception in the air, and the riches and extremism? The star in reverse. So it's the Aquarius card. Someone doesn't want you to be seen. Doesn't want you to see something. This is definitely going to require more clarification. But like the Six in Swords, the Mercury in Aquarius is very visionary thinking. Very break the mold, do things different. Even if it doesn't make sense to other people, even if it seems a little kooky, eccentric. There's like method behind the madness, and Aquarius is going to like think what you want. Like even think what you want about what I'm doing. Carry on. And then they also will carry on. I say that as an Aquarius rising. Let's get more information on the star. What is the deal with hiding something? Oh. Hiding the departure? Because there was something, I don't know what I'm picking up on in a past, like you couldn't answer the call before. I don't know why. Maybe there's a connection from that major arcana reading that I did. Because that would have been the star. And I think I actually used this deck too. Maybe. Because it's such a pretty star card. I love this movie. This was a Christmas present to myself. I got it on Etsy after seeing it at an expo. But let's see. That is a lot. Just taking the bottom one. High Priestess. How very juxtaposed. The High Priestess upright and the star in the reverse. And then, I don't know if the camera, can I even see that with my eyeballs? But it looks like she's looking at the castle there, like in her eyes. I don't think the camera's going to pick up on that. But then there's a 2 unicorn down there. I can't tell what's in the left eye. But that to me is like seeing danger. Some sort of threat. And the moon there, like seeing a hidden obstacle, something, I don't know. is someone trying to use deception to keep you from going somewhere? I mean, it could just be as simple as, you know, you're taking a job opportunity and it means the end of your relationship, you know? Not even a marriage, just the end of, like, dating somebody. Potentially even in the early stages. Or is someone, like, have hidden feelings? Five of Wands. It's more conflict. And it's conflict between her and Schmendrick. But if I remember correctly, I think he was trying to keep her on track, like with what her mission was, like what she had set out to do. And she was struggling to retain her memory after she was changed from unicorn to human. And the hiddenness, she kind of had to, like, covertly navigate around the king, because I don't know if he could, like, sense unicorns or something, but, like, he was the one trapping them all. This feels really layered. So something hidden, maybe a hidden conflict, a quiet conflict. And I can't remember his name, but he looks pretty heated in the middle. Maybe you're trying to avoid outright conflict. Yeah, okay. A little topsy-turvy. Death. And then it spun on top of my hand. So preventing change, resisting change. And I think he was the skeleton guy. He was the one that, like, blew the whistle and was like, oh, he says it funny, like unicorn. And it's really, like, dramatic. But it was like they were getting along just fine, but Schmendrick was deceiving him. As soon as he knew she was a unicorn, he was like, here she is. I need more, because I'm not quite understanding the connection to these riches. Fulfillment, Saturn in Sagittarius. And that's reverse, so lacking fulfillment. Is someone, like, engaging in these deceptive ways because they lack fulfillment? Like, they're trying to keep you in place because they're unfulfilled. And for some reason they're deciding to put that on your shoulders? Because riches, negotiation, and extremism. Oh, I wonder. Whatever the call to adventure is, I mean, at any point you can encounter a threshold guardian. But is this like an offer that's just too good to be true? And that's like the threat that she's seeing in her eyes. Like she can see right through it. But this person, kind of like the king in the movie, he was like hell-bent on possessing all the unicorns. But it didn't ultimately fulfill him, and he knew it. It was like something that he'd kind of just descended into madness doing. So we've got endurance, Sun in Scorpio, that's coming up soon, and resourcefulness, Sun in Cancer, in reverse. And then this is one of the trials of Hercules here with the lion. Maybe whoever this is in your life, because this does feel external now, just like the way it's coming out. Could just be the way that it fits into the storyline of the movie, I'm not sure. But this is someone who has tried for a really, really long time to keep you in place, and they're running out of tricks. They're running out of resources. And that's like the sound the alarm of like, don't let him get away. Don't let him answer the call. I want to get into like, why is this person so like hell-bent on keeping you in place? Because from the last stage to this one, I mean, Pisces had grown restless, but like confident in their assessment of the ordinary world. And that the self-sabotage, it would be more staying in place. Because from the outside, it could look like self-sabotage. It could look like impulsivity. But the people making those judgments don't have access to your internal world. Or maybe even access to you, for whatever reason. So that could be a component of it too. That's someone who's seeing this like in a really infantilizing way of, oh, you don't know what's best for you. Like, let me deceive you into doing something that I'm protecting you. Like, the gaslighting is real. But what's this person's deal? That's what I want to know. What's going on with them? Anywhere to start to anchor into this? Even though these cards are a little sticky, I feel like it's meaningful when it flips. Maybe a little more detail on the identity of this person. Now that the cards have gone quiet, it feels like they don't want to be seen. Let's see. Who is this person? Because we haven't really got back to the Knight of Pentacles yet. It popped up briefly. But that is the slowest moving knight in the deck. Is this call to adventure a long time coming? Or a long time to return from whatever the case was before? Just cutting the deck. Two of Wands in reverse. Yeah, that's like looking out into the horizon at like all the possibilities. But in reverse, trying to keep you from seeing those possibilities. Which I feel like is being so stubborn. Kinda nods to. Because it looks a little dark and gloomy there, you know. I mean, I like a nighttime stroll as much as the next person. But it just, she seems sad. And, I mean, if someone wants to keep you in a situation that you're unhappy with, screw them. Like, why would they want that? That's not a healthy person. And there's so many people that get caught up in their own rationalizations of like, I know best for you, another adult. You can think that all you want, but once you start interfering with someone's life, like, that's the line. Especially if, like, deception is being used, like some sort of trickery. Because if you're not given all the information, like someone's intent, if they do, like if it's something like they're hoping to get something romantic by being friends and not being honest about that, like, you're not actually engaging in that friendship consensually then, because you don't know their true intent. We've got the Nine of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Seven of Wands. Ooh. What is up with this person? Trying to keep you from seeing possibilities. But Nine of Swords is read a lot more positively in the reverse than it is the upright. And this is the King. Just trying to hide all the unicorns. But maybe this call it's going to be a relief for you. Maybe getting away from this person who potentially doesn't want to admit their flaws, but this, she was like the hag in the movie that was capturing all the magical creatures and whatnot. She knew that, like, one of them would get her one day, and she was like okay with it. So they know what they're doing is wrong. This is not like a feigned ignorance, or don't let them like feign ignorance. And then Seven of Wands in reverse. That's like, in the upright it's like holding your position. And in the reverse, it would be like losing ground on that. So maybe losing ground on this call to whatever it is. I still don't quite understand the why. Why does this person want to keep you still? That's like a heck of a threshold guardian. Feels like someone, like if it were a movie, like someone they encountered unsuspecting early on, and then like later on the big reveal, like they're the big bad guy. And if you're dealing with some sort of like antagonistic personality, that is like a common thing for like the desire to go unnoticed, you know? And I don't know if it's always conscious, but with like the love bombing and the future faking and things like that, those are strategies, you know, to like capture somebody. Flattery, the Venus in Gemini, and influence, Mercury in Libra. And this is like the Adam and Eve card. And in it being in reverse, it's like the story around Eve and eating of the fruit, you know, of the tree of knowledge. I can't remember Genesis well enough to... So there were some layers to that. But flattery, and there's the like two faces, so it's giving like two-face. Is this just an ego thing? Just plain Jane, they're a dick? I don't know. Like, that very well could be, you know, the Occam's razor. That this person just has stuff to work through, and rather than doing that in a healthy manner, they're taking it out on you. For whatever reason. Maybe you're a unicorn, and they want to possess you, possess some quality you have that is pulling you forward into the call to adventure. And so there could be a lot of back and forth, maybe really subtle influence, like thinking like gaslighting, to get you caught up in your head about like the grass is greener, but like the grass is greener where you water it. But maybe you're leaving because you've been watering it where you are, and so you're trying to go find another patch of land to water. And just for whatever reason, maybe their tricks have run out, you know, the resourcefulness in reverse. They can't convince you that, like, you can just keep watering here. Something will happen eventually. Like, you know what? No, I've actually tried enough that I'm gonna go try elsewhere. Things aren't blossoming here for whatever reason. And then secretly in the background, this person's like salting the earth. So they know that it's a futile effort, but then they're being deceptive of like giving false offers of riches that will never come, or maybe trying to make some sort of significant offer, thinking that will sway you from your position. You know, you talked about like the bajillion zillion dollars not being enough. So what does Aquarius need to know? Because this feels obstructive. Because the next stage is the refusal of the call. So he might be trying to mess with your head. And that, like, maybe they're just a bully or something, but it's that lack of fulfillment. That they don't have something to fulfill them in their lives, so they're just making their life about you. For whatever reason. Read a book. Something. Like Legends and Lattes. That's a good one. That's an easy kickback read. Cozy fantasy. You know, an orc retires from orking and then opens a coffee shop. King of Wands in reverse. I think that flipped over. I was talking about retiring from orking. So in the upright, very creative, mastery of creativity. This is giving me like imposter syndrome, but not, but like for real, not the you're tricking yourself into it. This is someone who's pretending to be something they're not. Maybe to get you to stay in place. Like, say the relationship example. Maybe they're making a promise of like, I'm gonna work super hard at my job so you can afford to stay here and you don't have to move, you know. Maybe the career move is money motivated, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But they can only make promises. They don't yield results. And so they're trying to say things that they think you want to hear, and maybe there is a time in which you would have, and maybe that time has passed. And they're just not willing to accept it. And I think just a good thing to remember, I'm going to take the bottom one too since it was plopped out. Boundaries are an FYI, not a negotiation. Like once you've made your decision, people are going to feel the way they feel about your choices, and that is that. Like, you're going to be the villain in somebody's story. Might as well be the hero in yours, right? 10 of Coins in reverse. I think that's the consequence of staying here, yeah, and the Emperor in reverse, yeah. Of course, there will be hemming and hawing about big change, you know. Get to the refusal of the call, get into some analysis paralysis. And I don't know if you heard that. Speeding down the road there. But I think that is a big sign from the universe of go. Answer the call. Just go. Because whatever you're leaving behind, it seems like a gold-covered turd, honestly. Like, you can cover it in gold, but it's still turd. And whatever this 10 of Coins is in reverse, this feels like some sort of long-term financial detriment. I don't really know how that would manifest, but like it could be the future faking. You know, if they try to, if you're looking to move, they're trying to keep you to stay. But if your call has something to do with your work and they're trying to make some sort of counter offer to get you to stay put, maybe with the promise of like a leadership position or something, like it just seems like all song and dance to me. And it's like, okay, so you're putting in all this effort now that I'm out, now that I've absolutely had it, and I am, yeah, achievement, Sun in Capricorn in reverse. Now that I have had it and I am done with this path, I am done with this thing, with this relationship, with this whatever, and I am taking to the open seas. And it could be, maybe it's a long time, any of those examples, job, relationship, whatever. And now you're seeing things for, it doesn't have to be successful, quote unquote, as in lasting forever, to be a success. Some of the most successful relationships end in divorce. Both people learn a ton about themselves and then they go their separate ways. You know, maybe they stay and co-parent if they have kids, but that person was still a huge part of your life and that career path, what have you. But I feel like even if you believe in reincarnation and things like that, this iteration of you have one life to live. It's very Pascal's wager, you know, if you're going to bet on reincarnation or bet on like this is the one and only, well, like one and done. But the way I look at it is this version of me, I have one chance at that, and I want to make the most of it, you know. We've got assertion, Sun in Aries. So you are putting your foot down. This is enough. No more. I'm out. I'm answering the call. I have been sitting by the phone waiting for the gosh darn call. It rang. I answered it. I'm out. That's kind of how I feel. Just waiting by the phone for whatever's next. I don't really know what that is, but it'll be different than what's happening now. I'm ready for some adventure. I want one more, just cutting from the middle. Did I get one? I think I got two. The World in reverse and the Knight of Swords in reverse. I don't want to be dramatic, but I feel like if you don't answer the call this time, you're in for a really long cycle. Whatever that looks like for you in your context. You know, and I'm not saying just jump into the first thing like, this is it, this is the call. You know, you'll know, because it'll be this like undeniable, this is the way, you know. An inexplicable pull. And the Knight of Swords, in the upright they're the reckless hero. But in reverse, a little more calculating, a little slower of an approach. So I think that's what is needed here. Definitely sleep on it, you know, whatever this call looks like. Yeah, restlessness. Mercury in Aries. A lot of Aries. Be still. Kind of want to say young Padawan. Maybe have a Star Wars marathon. Just for good measure. Let's get one of these here. These are the fortune cookie oracle. So be still and just consider, you know, because if somebody is making you a false offer, especially if it's someone from the past that didn't appreciate you while they had the chance, maybe they did you dirty, something or other. They had their chance or chances. Just go. Answer the call. It's funny how, you know, it isn't until you've got both feet out the door. They're like, wait, I'll improve. Like, nope, tried talking to you. It's too late for that. Wisdom. I think that's a nod to that. Of having that discernment of like, man, I see your game. To focus on the past is to lose the future. Heed advice from an older person which will allow you to move on. Well, if you could hear the noise that my knees make when I get up, like up and down from the couch, yeah, I'm an older person. But someone you admire, someone you trust, and it doesn't even necessarily need to be advice you're asking for. It could just be that, like, serendipitous, you got the right fortune cookie at the right time, you know, sort of deal. But they just say the right thing at lunch. Ask the right question that you've been waiting to hear. And then you'll just know. So a lot to think about, Aquarius. Maybe watch The Last Unicorn. You know, try and fit this in with the movie, because it's very good. Jurassic Park. More movies. Movie marathon, I think, is a good idea. You know, especially if you're making a massive decision. And if you're taking some sort of, like, offer or something that's far away, it's really significant, it would involve, like, a move or whatever. I don't anticipate that they would be expecting you to decide right away. Like, you know, woosah. Take some breathers. Sleep on it, watch some movies, read a book, whatever works for you to kind of quell the internal storm. But just find those roots in self-worth of if they didn't take you seriously when they had the opportunity, if they didn't appreciate you when they had the opportunity, you gave them their chance. So, overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates, and if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.